You're exactly where you need to be, because this video is about waking up to your power. Living like kings and queens instead of mindless slaves to technology and cultural programming. So what I want to share with you in this video are the 4 biggest ideas related to energetic wealth that I've used to build a life of freedom. You know, when I was 24, I thought I had it all figured out. I was working in the city of London for some of the biggest banks in the world. I had a good degree, a good job. I was making really good money, working with smart people 10, 20 years ahead of me in their career. I was learning a lot and getting promoted quickly. I thought I was a genius, especially because I grew up with a lot of poverty. I've never really told this story publicly, but basically my parents were hippies. They never had jobs. As kids, we were sent out in the streets to beg and busk for money, eating porridge and powdered milk for breakfast every day, sometimes even living in tents and caravans like gypsies. I knew that wasn't the life I wanted for me and my family, so I was doing everything I could to hustle and make bank. And I realized now, looking back, that, I thought I knew what wealth was, but I was ignoring the biggest form of wealth. The first aha moment was when I came back for a month in India, where I was doing Ayurvedic retreats, yoga, meditation, visiting ashrams. It changed my energy so much. When I got back to the office and looked around, I couldn't ignore the difference in the energy I was feeling around me. I could see my colleagues and friends, they really weren't happy most of the time. They were struggling with their weight, stuffing the lunchtime in front of their screens to be more productive, no time for their partner's relationships, and coping with drugs and alcohol to get through the week. They might have a lot of money, but they're not enjoying it. And that's when it really hit me. That's the road I was going to be on if I was staying in my successful career. I was living on autopilot from the alarm clock, rushing out the door, going to work in the dark and coming home in the dark, for months during winter. And then seeing the government taking 50% of my paycheck every month, it felt like slavery. No wonder people are miserable. Maybe you know that feeling. In some ways I was better off just begging in the streets. At least I can keep what I make. I knew there had to be a better way. And that's something I spent the last 15 years looking into obsessively. Now I'm financially retired. I can live anywhere. I do what I want every day. I travel the world, live on the beach. I wake up every morning feeling 18 again, ready to conquer the world. A life better than I could have imagined for myself. To me, true wealth is the freedom to get up every day with joy in your heart, to do whatever you want, with all the time, energy, and money, to really live your dreams with the people you love. This starts happening as soon as you realize that nobody is coming to save you, that you have all the power. You just have to learn how to think for yourself if you want to thrive. So let's dive in. The first thing you need to understand is that everything is energy and frequency. We are electromagnetic beings that absorb energy from everything around us. So your environment is a lot more important than you might think. The hermetic stress from natural frequencies like sunlight, they are designed for our biology to thrive. But we have no adaptation for the artificial frequencies like Wi-Fi EMFs that take the body out of balance. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, the average American spends 93% of their life indoors. And that's a big problem because all the natural energy our bodies have evolved to use and thrive is outside in nature, not indoors. For thousands of years, we lived and worked outside, always connected to nature. But a lot's changed in the last 100 years, since industrialization and urbanization took over. Now everyone today is living indoors, running on coffee, sugar, and supplements to try and find the energy they need. But this is a losing game, and the future for indoor humans is not pretty. Just look at all the modern diseases skyrocketing today. 1 in 2 people are getting cancer, diabetes, obesity, autism, Alzheimer's. Even sperm counts have fallen 50% in the last 40 years. At this trend, the average man is going to be infertile in 20 years. Is this what your ancestors wanted for you? What they gave their lives and died for? Think about the gift of life you've been blessed with and start paying attention to what's really going on. You're living in a world that sucks so much of your time and energy every day. You should be using every edge you have to take your power back. I've looked at all the meditation, all the books, all the courses on building the right mindset and belief. And they're good, but there's just one thing. They're not going to change the equation of energy. And that's because 90% of them are taught indoors. And so this is a normie approach to trying to become wealthy. And it sucks. I tried it for years and it caused me a lot of pain. I still see a lot of people out there struggling with stress and scarcity. Prices are going up all the time and the world is getting crazier. I see more beggars and homeless people in the streets every day. Now more than ever, you need to question the mainstream beliefs and habits if you want different results. The second principle is learning how to measure and improve your health. Now, if everything's energy, how do you measure this in the body so you can start to save and build a surplus? I've been helping CEOs and entrepreneurs for years to track their biomarkers and metrics, like heart rate variability, sperm count, vitamin D, testosterone, inflammation, and why these are so important to see disease early and reverse aging. If you want more freedom, that's more time, money, and energy to create your reality. What all the self-help and personal development books and gurus don't teach you is how to build physiological abundance in your body. Think of it as your biological bank account. It all starts here, and how you optimize the food, light, air, and water that fuels your body. Let's look at the 3 primary energy systems that are broken today from living indoors and how to fix them to start building your biological bank account. Number 1 is ATP. This is the primary currency of energy in your body, and it's made by your mitochondria, the batteries in your cells. What you maybe didn't know is that early morning and late afternoon sunlight has more of the infrared light, which makes ATP in your mitochondria. So you need to be outside every day at these times to make it. To be as naked as you can be, even if it's cloudy or you only have 5-10 minutes in the morning. This energy keeps your mitochondria healthy, and this is what gets destroyed living in the modern world. You can also increase your mitochondrial size and efficiency with things like sauna, fasting, exercise, and cold showers that activates your brown fat tissue. Number 2 is melanin. This is the dark pigment in your skin that turns you into a superconductive battery. And it's why black people have some of the most powerful genetics to be the top athletes in pro sports. It's not just in the skin, it's actually everywhere in the body and in the brain. And biochemically, it's similar to the green chlorophyll in plants, but it's much more efficient at storing and converting energy. You need ultraviolet light from the sun to make it, which you build through the summer and store through the winter when there's less UV light around. The infrared light from morning sun also acts as a natural sunscreen by making the enzyme catalase, which breaks down hydrogen peroxide from UV. Too much hydrogen peroxide is what burns and ages you, so you can't shortcut this natural intelligence and jump out in the midday sun with high UV unless you've done the work. Cold exposure also upregulates melanogenesis via hormones like MSH and MCH, which is why you need to be outside all year round to get the natural cold stimulus, even when there's less UV. Number 3 is hemoglobin. This carries the oxygen in your red blood cells to regenerate the body, and the iron flowing in your blood creates an electromagnetic field to radiate your energy into the world and create your reality. For better oxygenation and blood flow, you need heme iron from seafood and red meat, because all plant-based iron is non-heme, which most genetics convert very poorly. A lot of people today are anemic and low energy because they don't understand the importance of eating high quality meat. And all the processed meat you see from sick animals today, it isn't the best source either. It's like I said, you have to learn how to think for yourself if you want to thrive. To move red blood cells and oxygen smoothly through the body, you also need exercise every day. We are designed to move every day, not 3 times a week in a gym, and moving outside under sunlight is what produces the most nitric oxide for vasodilation to move your blood smoothly. The third principle is developing daily consistency and removing resistance. Your whole life is just a series of days, so how you start every day is how your whole life will go. The first thing you do every day when you wake up is what you are telling yourself is the highest priority. Are you meditating and moving your body? Or are you telling yourself you do it later after work, like most people? Making yourself and your health the lowest priority. That's low energy slave mentality. If you want to live like the 1%, you need to put good energy habits first. So get this in your head, watch this video every day if you need to until you stop making excuses. Everything you do builds up cumulatively, and this is the power of daily consistency. It's just like the idea of compound interest, but for your biological bank account. You might think you need willpower and discipline to achieve your goals, but this is only true at the start, when you only know something intellectually, like after watching a video like this, but you don't yet have the embodied truth and awareness from direct experience to know what's good for you. People say all the time they don't have the time or the money to do what they want or to get started in a new direction, but look how cheaply they spend their time and money, and who they spend it with. Look where you give your energy to. Look at your friends, their habits. Are they successful and happy and living the life you want for yourself? Or are they going to pull you back into their small world, so they don't have to face their insecurities and take responsibility for their lives? One of the best things I did when I was 25 is I left my home country in the UK and I moved to Singapore. Suddenly I had no friends to invite me to the pub and get drunk and stoned all the time, and I could reinvent myself with better habits and better stories. Frequent pattern interrupts like this are important, so you don't get stuck in unconscious loops that drain your energy. If you feel you are sabotaging yourself or you notice resistance, remove these obstacles from your life. You'll see all the ideas and excuses that show up as resistance to stop you from developing daily consistency with good habits. For example, the first thing I do when I roll out of bed every morning, I start with dips, pull-ups, push-ups, and skipping for 30 minutes. Simple circuit training. I know if I had to go to gym every day to work out, I might make excuses for why I'm tired in the morning, or I don't have time to go before work, blah, blah, blah. Are you still making excuses, or are you now in the 1%? Once you know and feel better, and your energy surplus grows, it becomes very easy. You don't need willpower because you won't ever want to go back to feeling worse. You can't unsee what's now obvious. Now here's the woo-woo part. I've shared these cheat codes with so many people over the years, and I notice many people still struggle to do them consistently. Even if they agree with me intellectually, and they know me personally and they see how it's changed my life, why is this? You might have heard the phrase, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And there's truth to this, but what we do on the physical level also affects our spiritual growth and experience. What I found working with my clients and years of inward reflection is this. The resistance many people have to taking better care of themselves physically is usually based on deeper mental and emotional beliefs about who we are and what we deserve. These are learned subconsciously from a very young age, from our parents, teachers, bosses, friends, and this culture and environment. It shapes our values, needs, and desires. So if we're not getting results we want, maybe it's not that surprising when you look around. Most people are still living like slaves, rushing around with little energy, no control or awareness of how they spend their day. Think about how this could be influencing you. I learned how to reframe my reality and choose more empowering stories by changing my environment frequently. Using billion-year-old conscious guardian energies like the sun and natural psychedelics to increase my own intelligence and create beyond my limited imagination. You can also use tools like hypnotherapy. Even just being in nature every day will reset this programming, so you can decide the story that runs your life. The fourth principle, slow down and stop rushing, especially in the evening. It's a time to wind down and relax into deep rest and sleep, so you have enough energy for the next day. Most people today are stretching their social activities into the evenings and increasing stress because this is the only time they're actually free. All day they've been tied to the desk working for someone else, so their modern ideas of freedom are completely distorted today. Things like eating big meals at night, drinking alcohol, keeping the lights on after dark, all this destroys your sleep quality over time, and there's always a price to pay when you step outside the natural cycle. Most people just don't see it until after 40. Then they wonder why 1 in 2 people are getting diseases like cancer. If you want different results, to live the life of your dreams, you have to learn how to think for yourself. And if you're rushing around today like most people, subconsciously you're telling yourself there isn't enough time in your reality to get things done. The very idea of rushing is rooted in scarcity and not enoughness. So how are you going to build abundance with an underlying belief that time and energy is scarce? Again, you might have the money, but you won't be able to enjoy it. Think about that. When you stop following the herd and wasting your energy, when you get really clear on what it is you want, you've removed bad energy habits and people from your life and you're building a surplus, you'll have a lot more time and energy and you won't need to rush. Energy is consciousness and now you have more of it. You get bigger challenges to learn and serve, more time for play and less struggle, and whatever emotional and mental baggage you're holding on to that's stored in your sick and diseased cells will naturally come up to see, love, and release. Doing it the other way around, with less time, money, and energy, is what everyone else is teaching, and that's much harder. It's like pissing in the wind. But it helps people feel like they're earning it or something. These virtues of struggle and scarcity are so wired in culturally, it's the biggest virus on the planet. Why struggle when you can let nature take you in its wings? Just learn where energy comes from and how to pay attention. If you do these simple things right, over the months and years you'll find out you are living in a completely different reality. And be careful taking ideas, advice, and coaching from anyone who doesn't demonstrate an embodied understanding of this truth, because they're still on the struggle bus, and they'll just sell you their version of it. I'm definitely not perfect, and I have my own blind spots like everyone else. This is the process, so learn to love the journey and appreciate where you've come from to get here. I'm wishing you all the peace, love, and joy that is your divine birthright. Have a beautiful day. My name is Michael John, and you've been watching Sun, Sex, and Sushi. I created this channel to inspire you with proven and practical life experience to live like the 1%, so you can thrive in this changing world. Hit the like and subscribe buttons now for more magic and abundance in your life. And check out my newsletter for the labs and protocols I track to reverse aging and disease. And you'll love this feature-length video I shot in India recently, where I go through a lot more of the wisdom I've learned from living in nature over the years. That's it. I'll see you on the next video.